All right, you're welcome back. Of course, there's fire on the mountain, and okay, nobody seems to be on the run anyway. All right, we're all doing something. Let me just put it that way and leave it that way. All right, you're welcome. It's another lovely Saturday. I said it the other time. It's still Mummyhood with Adetutu, and this afternoon we're looking at the topic. Precautionary measures against rape and other sexual violence. Now, what is rape? You want to ask me. What is rape? What do we mean? What is rape? Rape is a type of sexual assault usually involving sexual intercourse or other forms of sexual penetration carried out against a person without that person's consent. Simply, defined. That is what is called a rape. When there is no agreement, when there is no mutual agreement, of course, and such person was forced, to go into sexual intercourse, it is called rape. Of course, we have so many types. And the act may be carried out by physical force, coercion, abuse of authority, or against a person who is incapable of giving valid consent, such as one who is unconscious, incapacitated, or has intellectual disability, or is below the legal age of consent. Alright, you're welcome once again. This is what we are looking at this afternoon, and we are not actually looking or going deep into all about rape, but we want to look at precautionary measures. We know we talk about families on family, and this program is actually a family program that deals with issues that affect the family, and we know that all those vices prevalent out there, and then we need to prepare ourselves. We need to know, we need to be armed with information that we need, to be well guided in case such a thing was going to happen, or in case such a thing is going to happen, or even if it is not going to happen, you can equally sell the information out to everyone around you and let them get prepared, or let them prevent themselves before that incident occurs. All right, you're welcome once again. This afternoon I have my guest already here, and when I say already, she's here live in the studio, and she's not just here, she's well prepared for you. So the number to call again in case you have your questions or your contributions is 080-275-79477. again, 080-275-79477. You can visit our Twitter handle at UNILAG_FM_1031, at UNILAG_FM_1031. That is the line, the Twitter handle, and of course the line again, 080-275-79477. You can send in your text messages to the line as well. My guest today is Dr. Ama Onyerima. Dr. Ama Onyerima is the creator of the Live Abundantly brand and the founder of Live Abundantly Empowerment Initiative. She is passionate about a brand and mission which both encourage people to live better lives, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and financially. The Live Abundantly philosophy encompasses our educational, ethnographic, business, and coaching expertise, which focuses on awareness of the being with genuineness, determination, focus, and diligence. It is with this ideology she created Live Abundantly Empowerment Initiative as a platform for social change through advocacy, education, and community participation. The organization's goals are to address and eradicate injustice towards women and children, make education accessible for children who are marginalized by poverty and physiological differences, as well as provide andragogical education for women. Of course, I would have loved to take the whole thing. She has more. Women are just powerful. Women are just resourceful. No wonder God decided that women will birth children. You understand? The way He just composed us at creation, I just wonder. All right, Dr. Ama Onyerima, you're welcome to Mummyhood with Adetutu.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, and it's so lovely to have you on the program this afternoon.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Let me just give you a hint of what she looks like. All right. She's not, let me say, okay, maybe she's from the generation that you call old school, but if you look at her, she's not actually old school. Hope you get it. All right, she's looking gorgeous, actually, and beautiful. I'm sure that someone that You must have met some guys. Okay, today is weekend. I'm sure that they will have made passes at you if it were a weekday with students around and all that. All right, that's just to tell you how she looks. She looks beautiful and gorgeous. You're welcome once again. Don't mind me. That is just me.
You're being yourself.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing.
All right. Okay, now let's do this afternoon. We want to look at rape. Let's get to the serious business now. Rape, of course, like it has been defined, is when an opposite sex, be it man or woman, is forced into having sexual intercourse without, of course, agreement, without a mutual agreement. Now, when we talk about rape, we have a whole lot of incidents happening right now in our environment, in our society, and I know that it is not limited to Nigeria. It's a global thing, because I think it was yesterday or day before yesterday, someone sent me a video clip on WhatsApp, and it actually happened in Dubai, where a man, it was a case of a pedophile now, raped a toddler, and 15 minutes after, the judiciary ordered that the man be killed publicly, be shot to death publicly, and that was what happened. Now, I want to know, one of the questions I have is why do we have this? Why is it that the statistics get growing again and again, in as much as you are doing what you have to do, to intervene, not just in rape cases, but other, cases of poverty, just like I read in your profile, and in other areas that you intervene. Why is it? I know that so many other agencies and NGOs, are wading into the situations like this just to ensure that we get rid of this, whatever would I call it. Why is it that we keep having the statistics on the rise?
Well, first of all, I would like to help sort of redefine the definition of rape.
No problem, go ahead.
Because the term that you use is that it's about the opposite sex having unconsensual sex with another of the opposite. The reality is, if we're going to use the global definition, it is a violation of another human being. So it could be the same gender raping the other. So let's keep it open, because otherwise we deny that abuse or violation occurs cross-gender.
Cross-gender,
Yes, I think that's important.
All right.
So why do we have rape? Rape has occurred for generations. It's not a new thing. It's been going on. I think part of the reason why we hear so much more about it now is that we're becoming more open to talking about it. And we're living in a globalized society. So we hear it more, we talk about it, and there is an increase in the level of sexual assault. And I'm using sexual assault under the umbrella that rape and all other forms of violence come under sexual assault. So rape is just one form of a sexual assault, but it's occurring everywhere. It's occurring with toddlers. You're talking about toddlers outside of Nigeria. It's occurring right here with babies. And when I'm talking about basic 6-month-old, 4-month-old being raped or violated, and you can't even use the word rape when it's a violation by your parent. It's actually incest.
Incest, yes.
So rape can be somewhat limiting in this discussion, but I understand you're talking about rape today, but let's also remember that it's incest when it occurs within the family.
That's why we said that's sexual violence.
Exactly. So it's on the increase for two reasons. One, we're speaking more about it, it's more open. Two, the rate of occurrence is mind-boggling. Within families, within family, friends and children, within adults, it's out of control. But I also think that we live in a society where women are viewed as sexual objects, and we need to change that mentality. When you see a woman as an object of gratification, then you believe that when you have an urge, you have the right to get it. And the reality is, it is a violation of somebody else's human rights, and you can't do that. So, and then you have those who are mentally ill. A pedophile is a mentally ill person. It's a neurological dysfunction that tells them that a child is appealing and should be a sexual object. Then again, in Nigeria, you have herbalists telling parents that they should have sex with their children because it will cure them of illnesses or it will make them very wealthy people. So it's just a topic with many facets, and it's a topic that must be dealt with.
Exactly.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, all right, thank you for that. You said there was something that struck me when you were talking. You said a pedophile is actually suffering from mental illness.
Well, I don't want to say it's mental illness because it is actually a neurological defect.
Okay.
So pedophiles are adults who are drawn to a child, find a child sexually appealing.
Okay.
You know, they're pedophiles. I don't want to take over an entire day talking about this. But they're pedophiles who are attracted to children under 7 as opposed to teenagers. So once they pass a certain age, they're no longer appealing or attractive to them. So it is a neurological defect. It's a miswiring in the brain that allows them or enables them to feel that a child is appealing. That's a pedophile.
All right, there's another angle to this. You know, in this part of the world, Africa, you know, we have our cultures in place, the way we dress, the way we eat, the type of food we eat and all that. I sent this on the social media, you know, with the intention of getting feedbacks, and some of the feedback I got is that the only reason why rape could occur is because a lady is improperly dressed.
Well, that is absolute nonsense. Irregardless of what a person wears, you have no right to violate them. So the babies that are being violated, what are they wearing?
That was the question I actually posed. And that was the question I asked. I said, okay, for the case of a man who raped a young girl, would you say, or a baby, would you say the baby is not properly dressed?
Right. That is nonsense. What a person wears does not give you licensure to rape them. Rape is rape. It's a violation of another human being. And people are free, according to the United Nations Human Rights, which Nigeria is a signatory, to express themselves. So if you choose to wear a short skirt or a pair of shorts, you're not inappropriately dressed. That's what you choose to wear. If you're an adult and that's what you choose to wear. But it does not mean that you should rape the individual.
Exactly.
And those who are being raped and are clothing full clothing and are still being raped, what is it that they're wearing that's inappropriate? It has to do with this cultural belief that women are sexual objects, that we're not equal to and should not be regarded as equal to men. So you rape, but then why? Why do we over-sexualize women?
Okay, why do we over-sexualize women? I know that there was a time that we dealt with issues that has to do with cultures that should have been, you know, expunged, that should have, you know, that's more or less, I feel they are outdated and of course should be reviewed actually. And I don't want us to go into that because I know it forms some of the reasons why we have all this sexual abuse and all that. Okay, now let's go into what are some of the things that can be done. Is there anything that anybody can do to stop it? Rape? Well,
I think you're doing it already. You're talking about it. So I feel that it's 3 levels. 1 is creating awareness as to what is going on. 2 is advocating for the change in behavior. And encouraging everyone to participate in making this what's the word, a key issue, you know. Make it a key issue and deal with it and address it. Let's have public addresses, let's talk about it, let's educate people about it. What do we do with children? We need to teach our children about their body parts and appropriate behavior, what is appropriate or inappropriate behavior. We need to teach our children to understand that if somebody touches them in their private area, which is private, they should report it. And parents need to take it seriously. If your child reports that an uncle or a grandfather or a teacher or a driver or a malam or somebody is touching them inappropriately or teasing them inappropriately, then act upon it. Don't ignore it. And for those mothers who know that their children are being violated by their fathers and keep quiet, shame on you. Do something about it.
I'm going to have to interrupt you, and the reason is when you're talking about parents should get involved and ensure that they give the children the proper education, especially talking about sexuality education. One of the challenges that we have these days, especially in this part of the world, is most parents are not there, physically there. And when I'm talking about physically there, they are at work. Most of this job of parenting has been, handed over to caregivers, nannies, and maybe I don't know, people that work in that kind of office. Now, because some of these issues, actually, talking about rape now, I know that there was a gathering, there was a conference, family conference that I actually attended, and one of the psychologists narrated a situation that happened with a 13-year-old girl who was left to the care of there are two uncles, a driver, and of course a cook. The driver takes her to school and brings her back home, and the four of them take turns to rape the girl continuously, and the parents were not aware of whatever was going on under their nose until the particular day that the girl was about taking her own life in school. Thank God for the teacher who has been, very, very caring and was monitoring her. She just realized that she went in the toilet and was staying there for too long, and then she went in after her and realized that she was about cutting her wrist. That was where she intervened and started interviewing her, and got to know that this was going on with her. And they called the mother. The phone kept ringing. She didn't pick. She was there. She didn't pick because she doesn't have time to answer phone calls. And then they sent a text message. If you still want your daughter alive, then you must come to school now. That was what got her, to stand up. And by the time she got hold of the information, the whole thing is, in a mess. What I'm trying to bring in is that when the parents are not available, what happens? What do we do? How do the children come up? Because I know that for that girl, it must have been very, very difficult and very traumatizing for her, because she would have loved to open up, because they actually threatened her that if she should mention it to the parent, they will kill her. Because of course it's possible for them to kill her, because the four of them actually are involved in this, and the parents are not aware. So if they decide to do away with that, they will still not be aware that it was. They come up with any plan or sort. So for parents, I love the way you started that parents should. And I really want you to talk to our parents this afternoon, because this is one of the things that we do here on this program, trying to, spur on parents to encourage them to step into their roles, especially when it has to do with children. Of course, we understand with teenagers, we understand you can't monitor them, all around, going after them all. But then the little ones especially, they should step into their roles and ensure that these children are well catered for.
The role of a parent is to safeguard their child. It's more than just putting food on the table. It's more than getting them to school. You need to be responsible for the safety and welfare of your child. No matter how busy you are, you must make time to know your child and to be there for your child. If this child felt that she could speak to a parent, and I'm separating mom and dad here, right? If this child could speak to a parent and felt comfortable and knew that they would listen to what she had to say, then they would have known what was going on in the household. When you hire people into your household, make sure you do the correct thing. Get a police profile. Make sure that you're watching what they're doing. If you have to put cameras in the house, then do so. But to leave your child in the care of others and not know what is occurring with your child is negligence. And negligence is a form of abuse. So parents need to talk to their children. Parents need to teach their children appropriate and inappropriate behavior. Parents need to teach their children and let them know it is okay to be assertive and say no. And if something is occurring, that they can come to them. But more importantly, parents must make themselves available to listen to their children and to be with their children. You cannot know unless you're available for your child, mentally, emotionally, physically.
All right. That will be all for now. We will be going for a very short music break, and when we come back, we will definitely do this again. You can then keep sending your questions and contributions on this topic. All right, hold on there. We'll be right back. All right, you're welcome back. It's still Mummyhood with Adetutu, UNILAG 103.1 FM, and we've been talking to Dr. Ama Onyerima. I hope I got the pronunciation right.
You know what, Dr. Ama is simple enough.
Oh, okay. Just like Remy. Simple enough. Dr. Ama. Okay, so we have a question here. Someone is sending a text message. I want you to answer the question before we move on. So, good afternoon. Can rape cause emotional depression to the victim? And that is coming from Ladi from K2 Ijaniki. All right. Thank you, Ladi. Doctor will definitely answer your question now.
Yes, laddie, rape does cause depression. It does. Here's what happens when you go through rape. You blame yourself, and it's not your fault if a person who is raped has been violated. But they blame themselves and they wonder what it is that they have done. So you're already in doubt about yourself and your being and all of that. Then you can be stigmatized. Unfortunately, in Nigeria, there's a high level of stigmatization of those who have been violated, as opposed to the focus being on the perpetrator and bringing it to justice. Then your appetite is going to change, your sleep pattern is going to change, your mood is going to change. You may not even want to leave your house, and you do go into depression. So it's very important for those who have been violated that they seek counseling, that they go to the centers available like Warif and Mirabelle and get support and get on with their lives. It takes time, but yes, depression is one of the side effects, for lack of a better word, of being violated.
So, okay, I really appreciate the fact that you went as far as telling them to go for help. And, of course, they can equally visit psychologists, am I right?
You can see a psychologist, you can see a counselor. If you've been raped, the most important thing is to not have a bath. Report it to the police, go to one of those centers so that they can gather the evidence. Once you have a bath, you have washed away the evidence. So it's very important, if you're raped, if you know anybody who has been raped, that they, rather than knock themselves and think that it's their fault, that they seek assistance immediately. I know that Lagos State has a number that you can dial. Please don't quote me, but I believe is #6820#. I will try and get it for you before I leave.
All right. Okay. Now, I want us to look at Live Abundantly. Live Abundantly, you are the founder of that brand. Live Abundantly, what does that mean? Everybody wants to live abundantly anyway.
And that's the end goal, is for us to all live abundantly. But to get there, we must address the social ills within society.
Okay.
Living abundantly should not be restricted to just a certain group. It should be for all, male, female, child, adult. But Live Abundantly Empowerment Initiative was established as a platform to address domestic, well, I won't say domestic violence, actually violence against women and children, children who are marginalized by poverty and physiological differences, and andragogical education for adults, which is really adult education.
Okay.
So skill sets, work preparedness, those are the kinds of things that we want to do.
Okay.
And basically what we do right now is we do things like we are today. We talk about those issues, we have symposiums, we are invited to schools and other community areas to speak. This work involves more than individuals. It is individuals, the government, NGOs, communities coming together to address issues that affect all of us. All of us are affected. Whether you're the victim or related to the victim, you are affected by this issue.
Exactly. All right. Okay. You said you organize seminars, symposium and lectures. You go to schools. Of course, definitely you engage communities.
We work on all of those platforms, yes. We just had a symposium in March right here at UNILAG at the Omotola Hall. And we brought in just under 1,500 secondary school students who attended a full day of lectures and entertainment. Yes.
Okay. All right. If you still want to speak with Dr. Ama on the program, you want to ask questions regarding rape and other sexual violence, the number to call again is 080-275-79477, 080-275-79477, and you can equally send in your text message as well to that line to 080-275-79477, 080-275-79477. She's still here and she will be glad to answer your questions. All right, now let's look at the aspect of you've mentioned the fact that I was looking at the aspect of young children. You understand? I remember that recently I read in the news the incident of a neighbor who raped a very young girl, I think like a year and a half or two or so, and it was because the the mother noticed the way the girl was walking, that she got to know what eventually happened, and of course she reported to the police, and the man was picked up. Now, when we have situations, of course, the way we structure our houses here, and the kind of communal life that we live, in those days, you're just very free around anybody around your community or your area. And it could be you're not blood related, but you can call him my brother, my sister. But we don't have such things again because of all these kind of vices. We don't have such relationship again because of all these incidents of rape and other things. Now, what can be done? And that is the reason why parents now engage the services of caregivers to look after their children, or while they are at work. Now, what can be done? Can that kind of communal living be brought back, the situation?
I just want to add one thing. The engagement of a caregiver does not equate that your child will not be violated. It's about knowing the individual that you're leaving your children with. It could be a caregiver, it could be a teacher, it could be a professor, it could be another fellow student. There are just so many other people that you expose yourself to who can violate you. So we shouldn't assume that because we've engaged caregivers that our children are safer. We need to know these individuals, get a police profile, talk to your children, pay attention to what's going on in your household. When your child's habits change, whether it's their dietary habits, their sleeping habits, bedwetting is happening, difficulty walking, not wanting to participate in activity, all of those changes, or they're talking about sex or sexually related matters in a bizarre but sophisticated way, though you're wondering, how would they know about these? Those are the telltale signs that something has happened with your child. So pay attention. All
right, for you out there, if you want to reach out to, if you have been raped, abused or beaten, or you know someone who has been violated, the number to dial or to call when such happen is *6820#. I'll take that again. That is for the Lagos State, the agency in Lagos State that handles such situation. The number to dial is *6820#, or text abuse, ABUSE, to 6820. If you have been abused, raped, beaten, or you know someone who has been violated, dial *6820#, or text abuse to 6820. Dr. Hammer, it's been a very, very lovely experience with you on the program this afternoon, and I know that it's not going to be the last, because definitely I'm going to bring you back on the program. Of course, definitely not on that aspect that we talked about.
The pleasure is all mine. Thank you for having me.
All right, and we hope that your projects and everything that you're doing, to help a human being get the best that they deserve in life, God himself will definitely crown all of your efforts with success.
I wish you the same.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. That's all that we can take. I thought that I was going to get enough text messages again and calls, but not to worry. You can send in your text messages, and I will definitely send them across to the doctor, and she will definitely respond to your questions, definitely. And of course, this is where we draw the curtain this afternoon until we come your way next week, Saturday. Again, of course, you should be sure that we'll definitely bring a very, very wonderful topic to you out there. Again, thank you for being there always. I am still Adetutu Oluyelu. Thanks to the production crew. Love you guys. Bye for now.